Hi, folks. Brian G here, and I want to do something different today. I want to talk a little bit about our response to this crisis, to this situation, to this fact of life that we have to deal with, and give three suggestions for how we might go about that. From my experience in the addiction recovery and yoga mindfulness world. So, the first is to acknowledge that, obviously, and this is kind of pretty straightforward, that our lives have changed dramatically. Most of us are in isolation or self-imposed quarantine or complete lockdown or at least social distancing, being asked to act as if we're infected and then behave as if we do not want to infect anyone else. And so we're spending time alone, or with our loved ones within the confines of our small quarters. And that can be difficult. All of our routines are disrupted, all of our patterns are disrupted, all of our daily activities have changed, our habits have changed. And because we're, if you're like me, a very habit-based person, learning new habits is difficult, and losing the security of our old habits is challenging. And so the things that addiction recovery and yoga mindfulness have taught me are very useful in these times. In fact, the paradox of this is that those of us that are recovering folks are generally best prepared for this situation in terms of having experienced, for some of us on many, many occasions, the complete disruption of our life as we know it, and having to then work from that space and put a working life back together. So here is Brian G's three suggestions for modifying and managing in these times and in all times. The first, narrow the focus. In recovery, in the rooms of recovery, we talk about one day at a time. In the yoga world, we talk about one breath at a time. Use these tools to help you bring your attention and your intention to one breath, one step, one meal, one conversation, one activity, one homework assignment, one conversation, one song, one day at a time. One thing at a time. Worry not about all the other things that are going on that you feel like you're missing. Focus on the one thing, one breath, one step, one day at a time. 2, enliven your program or your practice. So prioritize doing those things that make you feel good in your spirit, in your body, in your mind. If you are a recovering person, you have a program. If you're a yoga person, you have a practice. Enliven that program and that practice. Make it be the end all and be all of what you are, and allow the rest of whatever happens in life to coalesce around that practice. As you focus on bringing well-being to your spirit, to your body, to your mind, you find the freedom to recognize that everything else is really just a distraction, no matter how much you were attached to it. The things you love or think you love, the things I think I love, sometimes I find are really just distractions from the present moment. And so refocus for me on my program, on my practice, on my routine, making it be that much more enlivened, that much more engaging, that much more focused, to feel that self-care of being connected to spirit, of being refreshed in body, and being calm in mind. 3, and this actually for me came out of doing those first two things. Accept unknowing. Recognize that as human beings, we live in a universe which is 95% unknown. As beings, we recognize that we are functioning in a reality that 95% of our capacity is unknown. Understand that that's a huge majority, and so that fact can help to allow a little space, create some space for the acceptance of nobody really knows. It's all really unknown. And remember that acceptance does not mean liking. So you don't have to embrace that idea. You don't have to fall in love with it. You don't have to be like, woo woo, this is great. Just try to create a little bit of space for that idea. As I was taught, just ask yourself the question, what if it's true? What if it's true? And allow a little space for that unknowing. And then when that unknowing, when recognizing that nobody really knows anything and that we're all functioning in the unknown and that every step is an unknown next step and that it really is a dance in an uncontrollable and constantly changing atmosphere. When that becomes difficult or challenging or difficult or incomprehensible or scary, then see suggestions 1 and 2. Stay safe, be well, seek peace. Hope this is useful.